This is how I plan to not care about FOMO in 2024 and have more fun. If you are new to the word FOMO, FOMO means the fear of missing out. And a lot of us struggle with this. I talk about this with the girls in my Hot Girl Brain community. I have my other patients talking about this. And now more than ever, we live in this age where the fear of missing out is like around us all the time. And really, we can thank that to social media because now we can see what everyone is doing. It's not just about our friends and family telling us what they've been up to when we see them and hang out with them or when we're on the phone with them, but it's more so that we can see this every moment of every day, what everyone is doing, and it just makes us feel so much worse about our life and as if we are not where we really should be right now, which is a really sad way of living if you think about it, right? If you are new to this channel, my name is Dr. Bisley Natley. I'm a cognitive behavioral therapy certified naturopathic doctor, and I love teaching women how to optimize their brain health so that they can step into their highest potential. If you're new to this, welcome girly, because you now have a new best friend who is here by your side to support you every step of the way. This video, I'm going to really focus and talk about FOMO. What my plan and strategy is to avoid feeling FOMO, because similar to you, I get caught up in this, especially with social media around us all the time. It's so easy to get caught up and think that your life isn't good enough because some other people are like, I don't know, halfway across the world on a beach in Bali, and now it feels like that's where you need to be right now in order to feel good about yourself. So I'm going to be really walking you through my strategy as to how I combat FOMO. There was a period in time, and this was when I was very depressed, where I constantly lived in FOMO. Like, it's just, I felt like that all the time. Like I was just like missing out on stuff, and I felt this like inner urge and need to make my life seem like exciting and extravagant every single moment of every single day, which, I mean, if you really think about it, it's not really a healthy way of living, right? When you feel like you need to live in this way, right? Where you need to show off your life, you need to show off that you're doing all these fun, extravagant things all the time because it feels like everyone around you is doing that. And I used to just constantly feel like I was missing out on stuff. And to be honest with you, I used to get really upset if people didn't invite me to places, or I found out about people doing all these really fun things that I wasn't invited to or didn't know about. And I just felt like I was constantly stuck in this loop of FOMO. And it just really made me feel bad about myself and who I am. And you might feel like you're in that spot. And the first step here, girly, is I just want to normalize that for you. You are not alone in this. We all experience FOMO. And as I said before, because everyone's life is so accessible to us, it's so easy to feel like we're missing out on stuff. It's so easy to feel like our life isn't worthy and it's not good enough because some other people are doing some cool stuff halfway across the world. And before, if you think about it, right, like when we didn't have phones, when we didn't have social media, all we had to compare ourselves to were our neighbors, were our friends, were the people that we saw every single day. But now, having the world at our fingertips, we have the entire world to be able to compare ourselves to. Sometimes I'll find myself on Instagram and I really have to catch myself. And then I see this girl that I'm just like, oh my God, she's so pretty. And then I click on her picture and like all of a sudden I'm on her profile only for like 2 seconds. And then all of a sudden, I'm just feeling so bad about my life because I feel like I'm not where I'm supposed to be, or she just looks like she's having so much more fun and her life seems so much better. And like, I have never seen this girl, never met her in real life. And that's just how easy it is to feel FOMO and get caught up in it. So by far, this is one of the best steps that you can take, girl. Please don't make yourself feel bad about it. We all experience it. And it's okay. So normalize it. Next time you feel like, oh, I feel like I'm missing out, or I feel bad about my life, just take a step back and be like, it's okay. It's okay for me to feel this way. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with me. It definitely doesn't mean that there's something wrong with my life. And this is something that we all experience and go through. And I'm feeling this way because I just saw someone else doing something, and now it makes me feel like I should be doing this very exact same thing. So the best thing that you can do right now is to normalize this experience. Tip number 2 is to stop looking at what other people are doing. The only way you can experience FOMO is if you either look at what other people are doing or, someone else ends up telling you all the cool things that they did. That is the only way you can experience FOMO. Now, I know that in conversations with friends, we can't always avoid what they're sharing, or if one of your friends is doing all these cool things, can't really avoid them sharing that, right? But you can curate and control a lot of what you see on social media, right? 100% you can do that. Don't deny me you can't do that, because I have done that. A lot of times what happens is that the people that we end up comparing ourselves the most to usually end up being the people closest to us. And if you are finding there are certain friends that you constantly, whose profiles you look at, or they share, stories of all the amazing things they're doing, and it makes you end up feeling bad about yourself and your life, hide it. Hide and mute the posts, hide and mute the stories. You can do that, and really one of the biggest apps I'm referring to is Instagram, but you can do this on all the other apps. Avoid looking at the content that makes you feel like you are having FOMO. You have full power and control over that, girl. You control that. And, a lot of my close friends and people, I've hid their stories. It's not because I hate them, I love them, and a lot of my action steps show how much I care about them as a friend. But if I'm constantly seeing other people's stories, it really does make me end up feeling bad about myself and my life. And I'm sure if I explain that to my friends, although none of them have called me out on like, oh, Bisleen, you barely look at our stories or our posts. I'm sure if I said that to them, they would totally understand how it makes me feel and they would be okay with that. But you have power and control over that. So just do it. If you find that you're looking at, and it doesn't have to be everyone, it's usually a few specific people, just don't do that. And really be mindful of the content that you're consuming on the Explorer page and feed or For You page or whatever else it is. Because if you find that looking at that content is making you constantly feel bad about yourself and your life, then you don't want to put yourself in that spot. And I'm not going to lie to you. For some of us, this is actually how we self-sabotage. We'll be feeling really good, and then lo and behold, we start scrolling on social media, and then lo and behold, now we're feeling really bad about ourselves and our life. It's almost like we can't even let ourselves stay in this state of feeling good, even just for a little bit. So take note of that. Is this you? Do you constantly find yourself sabotaging by looking at other people's lives and making yourself feel bad about your life? Because you might subconsciously be doing that, girly, and the first step is to become aware of that. So that's what you can do next, is to really hide the content that makes you feel like you are having FOMO. Tip number 3 that I have for you is be happy for the other person. I forgot what book I read this in a really, really long time ago. But in this book, the author talked about one of the best things that we can do about jealousy is to feel the same level of joy the other person is experiencing in that situation that they're in. So if you're ever on social media and you're just like, oh, I wish I was on this vacation and trip, I wish I was here, let yourself feel the same level of joy. Just ask yourself, right? Like, how happy and awesome do these people feel right now sitting at a beach watching the sunset? They probably feel really happy right now. And you know what? I'm gonna give myself permission to feel these same levels of emotion that they're feeling and experiencing right now. Like, wow, what a different experience and way to kind of move through this situation. It's pretty powerful, isn't it? When you give yourself permission, like, I'm just gonna choose to feel happy and let myself feel happy, just as happy as how they are feeling, doing whatever activity it is that they are doing. I honestly love this tip, and I think that this tip just works so well when it comes to FOMO, and it really just gives a whole different perspective on the situation. Why do you need to feel bad about yourself and worse about yourself when you see someone else having fun? Why can't you choose to feel good and feel happy just as they are with whatever that they are doing? That's a choice that you can give yourself to do and make in this moment, which is really, really extremely powerful. And it just shows you how much control you do have. You can feel just as happy as you want right now as if you were, sitting on a beach, lying around somewhere. So keep that in mind. And I think this is a really, really good tip moving forward. Next time you feel this FOMO coming up, give yourself permission to feel just as much as happiness and joy and whatever else you feel like the other person is experiencing doing whatever activity that they're doing. Tip number 4 is to keep the bigger picture in mind. It's so easy, and I know you know this, it is so easy to curate a perfect, amazing life on social media. It's so easy for you to see a friend's photo doing something fun and thinking they're having the most amazing time of their life. But here's the truth, girl. You have no idea what's going on. You have absolutely zero freaking clue, okay? And this is not like a good or bad or anything type thing. This is just a reminder that you don't know what the big picture is. There are so many couples that post happy photos of themselves online and, they got into like a huge giant fight like 2 minutes before, but they came together to take this really happy and amazing picture of themselves and they posted it online, and lo and behold, it seems like their life is perfect when it is anything but that. I remember this one time, one of my friends went on a vacation with her boyfriend and a couple of other people, and part of me was just like, oh, I wish I went on this vacation. And what's so funny is that, she went on the vacation, came back, and then she told me that it was like the worst vacation of her life, right? She told me that her and her partner, they fought, they ended up getting sick, and it's not that, oh, I was suddenly so happy that she didn't have a good time. Not at all. She's literally one of my closest and bestest friends, and I would want nothing but the best for her. But what it did in that moment was just remind me that, hey, there's always the bigger picture. And it's not to say people aren't having as much fun as we think that they're having. It's just that there's always a bigger picture, and you just don't know what's actually happening on the other side. You are comparing yourself and feeling like you're missing out on just one little tip of the iceberg that you see, and you have no idea what's actually happening on underneath. So having this bigger picture in mind and just taking a step back and reminding yourself that, hey, hang on, I don't know how much fun they're actually having or if this is even fun, right? They did a really good job of making this look like it was fun and amazing, but in reality, I have no idea what's happening. So really keep this bigger picture in mind moving forward. The last tip that I have for you, right? How do you really avoid FOMO? Something that I implement in my life is make your own life beautiful. We're so busy looking at other people's lives and what they're doing that sometimes we literally forget to take a step back and think about, how can I make my life be as beautiful as possible so that even though I see other people around me having such a great time doing all these amazing things, I don't end up feeling bad about my life and who I am, because I know that I'm doing everything possible to make my life be as beautiful as possible. This might look like for you scheduling. Look, I always try to schedule one fun thing a week. I haven't been the best at it lately, so I need to get back into doing that. Or maybe you do a little, fun self-care activity for yourself. You spend 30 minutes every single day indulging in that, because that is what helps make your life feel beautiful. So even just take a step back right now after this video and ask yourself, what are the things that make my life feel beautiful and amazing and incredible? And how do I make sure that I take the action steps to make my life feel beautiful as possible? The more beautiful your life feels, straight up, the less you care about what other people are doing. And the more capacity you have to actually feel happy and good for them, because you know you're not missing out on anything, and you know that your life is literally as beautiful as it can be in this moment, right? This might look like talking to your family or your partner and thinking about how can you have more fun and joy and beauty in your life on a day-to-day basis. And this doesn't mean that you need to go out and spend millions of dollars, my God, let's bring that down a notch. Hundreds, thousands of dollars on like vacations and doing all these big extravagant things. Like, That's not really, at the end of the day, what makes our life beautiful, right? Really, what makes our life beautiful are the connections that we end up having in our life. And if you're finding that you're constantly feeling FOMO because of a certain friend group that just don't know to invite you, like, talk to them about it, right? Talk to people about these things, and maybe they just don't know that you want to be invited. I've had conversations like that in the past with friends, and the answer has always been like, oh, I really had no idea that you would enjoy something like this, right? So ask yourself, how can you truly make your life be as beautiful as possible? Because, girly, you have full power and control over that. I really hope that this video was helpful and it's given you some really good tools and tips as to how you can let go of FOMO and step into more fun for 2024, because this is how I combat and beat FOMO. And working on these steps has really allowed me to build my life. And now I could spend all day working, and if someone else is having a great time, I don't care, because I know that I am doing everything in my power, and this is what beauty in my life looks like right now. Beauty looks like working towards my dreams and my goals, and I feel confident and I feel good about that. So I hope that this is really helpful. If you are ready to optimize your brain health, if you're ready to make this year be the year of hot girl brain so that you can step into your limitless potential, I would recommend book a free 30-minute brain health assessment with me. Let's talk about how we can make this be your most beautiful year yet. Thanks for being here, girly. Thank you for showing up for you. You should be so proud of that.